Hello, everyone. Welcome. We'll let everyone trickle in. Welcome, everyone. First of all, I just want to congratulate you all on your admission and welcome you to UCSC. I know move-in can be very stressful. I remember mine vividly. But I know we have a lot of awesome student volunteers out there, hopefully making you feel a little bit more comfortable during the process. But I know it can be a lot. So feel free to just kind of relax through this presentation, and we'll have a Q&A at the end with a couple of our faculty members. So if you want to unmute and ask those questions, you're more than welcome to. But without further ado, I want to welcome you, of course, to UCSC and to our psychology department. My name is Paige. I use she, or hers pronouns, and I'm one of your psychology undergraduate advisors. And I'll kind of be hosting our session today along with my colleagues. And I just want to emphasize that we do have the Q&A feature. It would be better to use that one. It's a little bit easier to track things in the chat. But you can use both, but maybe do the Q&A. And we can kind of track those. So my colleagues may be answering some of those as we go, or we may save them for the Q&A section. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I already introduced myself. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to my colleague, Julia, to introduce herself to you all.
Hi everyone, my name's Julia Wanlin. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm also one of the psychology undergraduate advisors here. Nice to see you all. And I'll pass it to Ryan.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Ryan Mulligan. I am also an undergraduate advisor, formerly a transfer student in the psychology department, graduated 2019. Use he, him, his pronouns. I'll pass it to Rebecca.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca, or Becca. I use she, her pronouns. I am another undergraduate advisor in the psychology department and also a graduate of UCSC from the psychology department. And we'll pass it back to Paige.
Awesome. Thank you. And we have a couple of other members of our team. Wendy, who's our program coordinator and assistant manager, who's kind of in the background of our presentation today, but is a major leader of our team. And then we have Carrie Walker, our field study director, who is going to talk about a few different things later in the presentation. So you'll get to meet her. Awesome. So one thing before we get started here, we did have our informational session back in July. If you all missed that, we strongly recommend watching that recording. You can scan the QR code, see all the slides and everything we talked about. There's a lot more logistical information in that about major requirements, all that good stuff today. We want to open it up more for Q&A, so it's not as information dense. But hopefully a lot of the questions and gaps will be filled by rewatching or watching that recording if you missed it. And I'm going to hand it over to Ryan to talk about major declaration.
All right, thank you. All right, so this is particularly important to you guys. You will be required to declare by next quarter. Hopefully you're all eligible. It's very unlikely you were admitted if you weren't, although there might be one or two exceptions who are still working on those requirements. If you are eligible, you can declare at any point in time, starting this week, essentially. But do make sure that you have filed your petition and requested your academic plan by the by the declaration deadline next quarter. Now, if you want to do that this quarter and have it done and put aside, know that the deadline for declarations is October 25th. So please have your form submitted by then. If you need assistance to make sure that you're eligible, if you want to have questions about which catalog you want to choose, whether you want to do intensive psych or general psych, those kind of things, please speak with us at SciEDV or attend drop-in advising. We're happy to help you make that decision and or walk you through the process for declaring if necessary. We go to the next slide. So when you are declared, you will receive a signed academic plan from us. That'll be your official academic plan for the rest of your time here. Sort of a record of all the advice we've given you, and of course, a list of the courses that you still need to take, probably. This plan is saved in a department folder, so all your college advisors will have access to it. If you want to add a second major or minor with another department, they'll have access to it. Yeah, we share that document. It's your official plan. So You only have viewing access to it, but you're more than welcome to make a copy of that plan to edit as you please. You can always email us if you need to make changes, or have it updated, of course. Um, when going back to preparing to declare, I mentioned this already, but know that you can either email SciEDV, you can attend drop-in advising, to work on a plan with one of our peer advisors, or you can go to our forms page on our website. There's a link on this slide, which will be available after this presentation, where you could sort of look at the requirements yourself and build a plan on your own. In the end, we will create an official plan for you in any case, but if you want to play around with it, by all means, go for it. I can go to the next slide. Um, Enrollment, what to expect after fall. Okay, so this is sort of important because you guys are coming into the psych department. We know that we are somewhat of a impacted major, although not officially titled that way. Classes fill up very fast, very, very fast. It is very likely that some of you, based on your enrollment appointment, even though you are technically juniors, may not be able to enroll in psych classes on your own right away. At least the ones that you may be most interested in. Don't fret. We do have a process to assist you, so you can stay on track, and that is via a permission code survey. So during enrollment, sometime around your second enrollment appointment, we will send out a permission code survey to your email, which you should be reading, your UCSC email. You follow up with the survey, see what classes you're interested in getting permission codes for. That's sort of first come, first serve and based on need. So do be prompt about it. And yeah, we will send you a permission code so you can enroll in those courses, and stay on track as if necessary. Once you reach senior standing with 135 credits, you will become eligible for 2 permission codes per quarter, up to 2, that is. If you can enroll in 2 on your own, then you're kind of out of luck. But for anything in addition to that, but if you can't enroll in any, we'll give you 2. In the meantime, make sure that you are waitlisted in the courses that you're interested in taking. That will be sort of a prereq for receiving a permission code. And just a general tip for advice in the event that you want to enroll in like a 3rd class, or are still having difficulty getting in the classes you specifically want in spite of our surveys, feel free to waitlist, show up to class. It'll be up to the faculty whether they want to add you still, but it is still an option at that point to work with them and perhaps get yourself slid into the class. All right. I'm going to pass it to Rebecca to continue with more advising information.
Yes. So there's a few different ways that you can receive advising through our office. These are super duper important, and I hope that you will utilize all of them throughout your time at UCSC. So the first is to email us at sciadv@ucsc.edu. We will answer within 1 to 3 business days. Typically, I'd say we're pretty quick with responding. And I know that I've already corresponded with a few of you through that. So yeah, if you have like forms for us to sign, it may take a little longer for us to get to them, but it would be great if you could send them to our email. Also, with more complicated questions, I would recommend emailing SciADV, but you can also reach our peer advisors at scipeer@ucsc.edu. Our peer advisors are a really great resource, and they also offer drop-in advising throughout the year. So I will show you in a minute how to like find information about drop-in advising. But yeah, this is a great resource for like graduation checks, academic plans, providing enrollment assistance. Really like a quick question you could get answered in drop-in advising. And yeah, and it's immediate because it's drop-in. So sometimes there's a little bit of a wait if there's people like in the waiting room around like enrollment, it gets a little busier. And another way that you can get advising through our office is by setting up an appointment with an undergraduate advisor. That's one of us. You can do that through Slug Success. I believe they have an app for this now. And yeah, it's super easy. We open up our availability a little ways before our actual appointment. So just know that they fill up a little quickly. So if you are interested in meeting with any one of us, you may have to plan ahead a little bit versus like drop-in advising provides immediate assistance. And we can go to the next page.
And sorry about that little glitch, everyone. My computer decided to have a nervous breakdown mid-presentation. But that's all good. And we'll keep going.
Happens to the best of us.
We love Zoom.
So yeah, we have information about all of these resources that I just mentioned on our website under the undergraduate advising section. So right here, you can find information for peer advising through drop-ins, academic advisors through appointments, some information about our field study program, as well as other resources. We have a lot of great resources on our website, and a lot of people come to drop-ins or set up appointments to access resources, which is totally fine. Yeah, but just know if you're interested in looking at like educational opportunities, the field study program, events, workshops, a lot of that is listed on our website. So this in itself is a great advising tool. And we can go to the next slide. So this right here is our advising calendar. These are the drop-in hours. Generally, they are from 9 to 4 with an hour lunch break from 12 to 1. So like 9 to 12 and 1 to 4, Monday through Thursday, in person or online. We recently moved offices, so I think the actual rooms listed on this slide aren't correct anymore. We are now in room 150 in Social Sciences 2. So same building. It's located up at like John R. Lewis College, kind of hidden away. But yeah, we would love for you to utilize the this drop-in advising calendar and come in person. Or again, you can access drop-ins online. So we can go to the next slide. If you are going to access drop-ins online, you can go ahead and just like click whatever calendar block you plan on attending and find the Zoom instructions for getting into drop-ins there. An important note is that you'll need to make sure you're logged into your official UCSC Zoom account to enter the room. And same with when you're emailing us, please use your official UCSC email address. And you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So further down on our advising services page is instructions for how to schedule an advising appointment with one of us. You'll see us listed here. We each have a little section of the alphabet listed next to our names. And we kind of split up students based on the alphabet, but you are welcome to meet with any of us, regardless of where your last name falls in the alphabet. We are super excited to meet with you all. I know I've seen a few of your names in the inbox. I'm super excited that you're here right now. Yeah, and I hope that you will set up advising appointments with us. They are offered on a first come, first served basis. So as I mentioned, we open up our advising appointments a little ways before. So yeah, if you're interested in meeting with us, make sure you're kind of planning ahead for that. And I believe that's all from me. So I will pass it over to Carrie to talk about our field study program.
Hi, everyone. Paige gave me a little intro. I'm Carrie Walker. I'm the director of the Psych Field Study Program, and I am also a fellow transfer student. So I'm really happy to be a part of this meeting today. And if y'all are from NorCal, I did my first part of my GE stuff in Yuba College, at Yuba College up in Marysville, California. And then transferred to Cal State Fullerton, where I did my degree in sociology and went on to do the teaching credential program there too. I saw some of you submitted questions about being a teacher, so feel free to talk to me about that if you have questions. I'm going to give you a little intro today about like our psych field study program, but also some other opportunities that you can be a part of related to experiential learning. So let's dive right in. So our psych field study program is affiliated with a course, Psych 193, and it's available to all juniors and seniors that are in good academic standing that have already completed Psych 100. Okay. And then basically the requirements are that you attend a field study info session. So I'm going to tell you about those dates on our next slide, but once you attend the info session, you get access to the application, and then that is when you actually get access to our community partner list, and these are all the available internships that you can apply to. So it's definitely not that you are assigned an internship. You very much so have a choice in the internships that you're applying for. So keep that in mind, and there's kind of a broad variety from the different areas of psychology available to you as well. Students that are admitted and offered a internship will intern at their site for 10 hours a week. for the 10 weeks of the quarter. So you're earning or you're logging 100 hours each quarter. And so for 200 hours total. So you'll be making a 2-quarter commitment to the program. And you'll also be assigned a faculty sponsor that you'll meet with periodically throughout your experience, and you'll complete an academic project related to the work that you're doing at the internship. Next slide. And so the info sessions for this quarter are going to take place in week 4, so October 21st through 23rd. You can see a little flyer here. You can also, the link on this page takes you to the sign up page. I don't think you'll be able to click on it, obviously, through this presentation, but when you get access to the slides, and the sign up will open this Thursday, so the first day of classes. So if you try to click on it now, it's going to tell you the form is closed, but first thing Thursday, you should be able to click on it and sign up for the info sessions if you're interested. And so these sessions are primarily for students that are interested in being a part of the winter spring cohort of field study, but anyone that's interested is welcome to attend. Next slide. All right, and so some other educational opportunities that you have on our campus or in our program specifically are advanced research and the senior thesis. And so the advanced research also is affiliated with a course like 194, and this is an opportunity to kind of test out the research path, right? A lot of students are kind of trying to figure out if they want to work in a more applied setting or work with research. And so participating in the advanced research course gives you an opportunity to kind of learn more about research, develop your research skills, and also work with faculty and grad students that are participating in that lab, right? So that's an excellent resource. And then if you are interested in that path, you can view available internships or not internships, positions on our website. And so the postings will all be listed, and each posting will include details about the specific study or work being done, required skills or experience, the duration of the position, as well as contact information for the associated grad student or faculty member. And these listings are updated regularly, so you can keep checking back to see when new things are posted. As far as a senior thesis, so this is not often something that you're just kind of coming up with on your own. Usually this happens because you are taking part in a lab, you're doing that advanced research, and excuse me, you come up with a question in collaboration with the grad student or the faculty that you're working with, related to the research that you're already doing in that lab, right? And you want to take it to a deeper level. And so senior thesis is an excellent opportunity to do that. So keep that in mind. And both of these options give you valuable experience that looks good on a resume and also allow you to create relationships with people on campus that can serve as references and write you letter of recs if you're thinking about grad school. Next slide. Finally, I want to plug, you all might have heard about the summer global internship that we offer, and this is specifically psych and cognitive science program. So all the positions will be affiliated with or related to our degree, our majors. And so in summer 2025, the opportunities will be in Dublin, Ireland, and also Cape Town, South Africa. So it's the same places our interns went this past summer, and they had a great time. So we're repeating the same locations. And we don't have details on the info sessions yet, but that will come out in November most likely. So stay tuned if you are interested. But students that participate do 200 hours over 8 weeks. So you're still basically doing the 200 hours you would normally do like in the extended field study, in the normal field study program, but on a more intensive, like short-term basis. And so it also is affiliated with a class as well. And I will also, the linked here is the information about the past program. So we don't have the updated version for summer 2025 yet for the program overview, but you can read this 2024 overview. So I highly encourage you, if you are interested in global learning as a transfer student, you have a little bit less time to kind of figure that out and plan ahead. And so if you are thinking that you're interested in global learning and you want to earn credits in psychology, this is an excellent way to kind of do both of those things at the same time. And along the global learning lines, I will now pass it on to Julia to give you a little more information on other opportunities available for that.
All right, so aside from the global internship, there are many other programs where you can study abroad. They can all be meaningful additions to your psychology and cognitive science degree. Both majors are pretty flexible in accommodating study abroad plans, but like Carrie said, you do have a little bit less time as a transfer. So if you're interested in learning how you can explore the world and also earn major credit, I recommend reaching out to us and the Global Learning team as soon as possible. The Global Learning team has their own very informative website, which there's a QR code for on this slide. And then we have our own page on our website that's specific to studying abroad as a psychology or cognitive science student. So on that page, you'll be able to tell which major requirements you can and can't satisfy while you're abroad. Next slide, please. And then here are some fall events that the Global Learning team is hosting. A couple of them may have passed already, but a few are coming up. So if you are interested in studying abroad, I definitely recommend attending these to learn more and get in contact with the Global Learning team. The QR code on this slide takes you to the site to make a Global Learning portal profile, which is how you pretty much get started with the whole application process. So check that out as well. And that's it for Global Learning. Here we're just plugging our grad check workshops. We offer 2 of them per quarter. You're always welcome to email us or make an appointment with us, attend drop-in advising to get a grad check. But this is one more way that you can reach us. So keep your eye out in your email. We'll be sending a fall newsletter out that will have some dates for grad check workshops, and you're welcome to show up to those. We'll provide a grad check for you, teach you how to perform your own so that you can do it whenever you want, and maybe you'll meet a couple of fellow psychology and cognitive science students as well. And I'll pass it back to Paige.
Awesome. Thank you, Julia. So we just wanted to go over a couple more resources here. So STARS is one that's going to be very important to y'all as transfer students. That's Services for Transfer, Reentry, and Resilient Scholars. Really amazing team of current students and staff that are working over there supporting our transfer students. I linked in a variety of their resources. They have Transition Mentors, which are current students, which is a really cool resource. And then they also have a lounge that has a lot of cool stuff, free printing, testing materials. It's a really nice space. So check that out. And it's in the Bay Tree building, which is right next to the bookstore. So kind of a central point of campus. So fairly easy to find. I left a little map for you all to check it out. And we also have a research scholarship program. I don't know, Saskia, do you want to speak a little bit more to this one?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, Paige. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Saskia. Through HSI in the Hispanic Serving Institution Initiatives and STARS, there is the Cultivamos Excelencia Research Scholars Program, and applications are due October 14th, so it's coming up soon. And this program allows you, your 12 transfer scholars are selected and allows you to expand your experience in research. So you will be paired up with a research lab, and you will have the mentorship of a faculty member and a graduate student to be a resource in terms of your lab experience, and also in terms of potentially applying to graduate school. So it's an excellent resource. If you aren't able to apply this year, I would also recommend it's every year in the fall. So the application comes out early in the fall and it's due around October. So please be on the lookout for Cultivamos Excelencia Research Scholars programs for transfers. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Saskia. Yeah, I was reading up on the program a little bit, and it's really, really cool. So like Saskia said, I encourage you all to check that out. Like I said, I linked all that information in there, including the research project kind of origins and kind of the mission behind it, so you can read a little bit more as well. I just wanted to kind of advertise our Career Success Center, as well as a slide they provided us with, just highlighting some of their main resources. A lot of cool stuff going on over at our Career Success Center. If you're like lost in how to format a resume, they're there for you to help you out with that. We have a career clothing closet as well as a photo booth. So if you need updated headshots, things like that. if you're kind of looking for professional wardrobe for perhaps an interview, we have a huge closet full of donated clothing items for you all to check out. Career fairs throughout the year. I went to several when I was a student. And obviously, we have staff over there that you can meet with to kind of talk through your career goals in conjunction with your major pathway. Awesome. So now I'm going to hand it over to a couple of our psychology faculty members to talk a little bit about their research. And then what we're going to do is just open it up for a general Q&A. But Ben, do you want to kick it off for us?
Sure. Thanks so much, Paige. It's my pleasure to welcome you all here. I'm super excited to have you in the psychology department as psych majors and as cognitive science majors. And we have 30 some odd faculty, and we offer a variety of courses across the curriculum. Our specialties are cognitive psychology, social psychology, and developmental psychology, though we do have clinical classes as well. And but beyond our classes, we have an amazing team here to support you and to ensure that you're successful. I really encourage you to take advantage of all of the experiences that college has to offer in and outside of the classroom. And we'll talk a little bit about that here and hopefully answer your questions about field study and research experiences, et cetera. Really quickly, my research is on memory and cognition. I'm interested in how people remember and particularly how they forget. So a lot of times we think forgetting is a bad thing, that it's a failure of memory. I don't look at it that way. I see forgetting as a critical component to learning and remembering. And so I study the process by which we forget and how that forgetting plays a role, an adaptive role in our cognition, in our everyday lives. So that's the kind of stuff that I study. But take a look at the website, meet your faculty. You're going to see a whole variety of types of research being done across the department. Saskias, why don't you go ahead next?
Thank you, Ben. Hi, everyone. I'm Saskias Casanova. As I said earlier, I am a faculty member in the psychology department, and I am a social psychologist, and my work focuses on using social psychology, educational, and interdisciplinary perspectives to understand the diverse experiences of students of color and immigrant origin students, and to really look at how their social identities develop throughout their educational experiences, and focus on how the experiences in education influence their adaptation, the resilience, and the development that relate to their learning. And so my lab works, the Migration, Identity, and Education Lab works closely with schools, with community partners. We actually have a partnership here at the university with STARS, which we just talked about, and with Cultivamos Excelencia, which is through the HSI initiatives. And so please feel free to connect with me. I am so excited to have you all here. And also, I know you're hitting the ground running as transfer students. You should definitely, I encourage you all to take the opportunities that we have here, and engaging with research, engaging with field study, so you can really grow in your time with us, in your short time with us. And my office is always open to connect with you all. And some of the classes that I teach are qualitative research methods, which is what I'm teaching this quarter. I also teach an upper division course called Latinx Psychology, and a senior seminar called The Psychology of Immigration. And I'm hope to meet many of you during your time here. And now back to Paige.
Awesome. Thank you both. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to unshare my screen, and you all can use the Q&A feature, or feel free to raise your hand, unmute yourself, and ask any questions. We do have some that you all asked ahead of time with the Google form, but I just want to open it up first to folks that want to ask any questions to faculty or to even the advising team. So again, feel free to use that Q&A or unmute yourself. All right, looks like we have a question. Oh, Ryan's typing. But Carrie can probably take this one. Is Psych 193 or field study available year round or seasonal?
Yeah, it is year round, so you can participate in field study every quarter. The only quarter I don't onboard students is summer, but you can attend an info session in fall, winter, spring. You can still start in summer, just so you know, but I just don't do info sessions and all of that during summertime. But yeah, every quarter you're available to do 193, and the internship abroad is only in summer. So that one is the only one that's kind of restricted to a certain quarter.
Awesome. Let's see. While people think of questions, I can grab a couple that you all submitted. Let's see.
There's another question for Carrie here. Can you tell us a bit more about what students do during the study abroad summer internship?
So I will say, we are going to have info sessions coming up in November, December, starting then, because the international internship is a little bit different than how our normal field study program runs. Um, Generally, when they're students that are going abroad, you're there for 8 weeks, right? And housing is set up for you. So the amount you're paying, you're staying at either local apartments or in Dublin, they actually have housing at the university there. And so our students stay in the dorms there while they're there. And so they're all kind of grouped together. So you're with like our whole group that's over there. In South Africa, they kind of have like little apartments, studio apartments that students share. And so you're all in the same kind of building. And there are people from other countries as well that are also doing internships there. So it's pretty international, the people that you get to interact with. All of the opportunities are going to be related to psychology or cognitive science. And so students meet with our abroad partners that kind of match you with your best match internship. And so that's where it's a little bit different. You don't get access to like a complete list of all the opportunities available. Rather, they meet with you. They look at your resume. You talk to them about your goals, and then they will come back to you with like kind of like your best match. And so generally that they do a really great job at matching our students. And so depending on what your goals are, you would find something that matches those. You would go abroad for, like I said, the 8 weeks. You're still matched with a faculty sponsor here from the psych department. And so you check in with them via Zoom a couple times throughout the summer, and you'll also do an academic project as well. But that's basically like a quick little summary of what that program looks like.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. We had a question. Are we allowed to switch to cog sci major from psych major after declaring? So yes, just keep in mind that that is something you can do. Just keep in mind that there are different declaration requirements for cog sci. So, this was discussed in the info session, but for cog sci, you'll need Psych 20, a programming course, calculus, oh my goodness, my brain today. But that also cumulatively needs to equal a 2.8 GPA. So you may have some of that coursework already, but you may need to supplement that with maybe you don't have Psych 20 yet or something like that, or maybe you don't have programming. So what we always say is you all should be eligible to declare psych if your proposed psych is transfer students. So go ahead and declare that. You can always change later, but do keep in mind, we would hope that your timeline would stay the same. But it's a little bit hard to judge when you still have a few declaration requirements to do, whether that might be pushed a quarter or so, but it's certainly something you can't do. We had a question if there's any events to kind of network with other psych students. So not specifically, however, we do have our student experience panel that I'll be talking about in a few minutes. And that's a great opportunity to meet other students as well. But we will be back in our office on Thursday, and then the following week we'll be back to our regular schedule. But that student experience panel is a great opportunity to meet other students as well. Let's see.
I was going to take the next question. There was a question on there about finding internships in the Santa Cruz area or like outside of like the international experience in summer. And so I would say number one, if you all haven't already heard, the Career Success Office offers the Handshake platform is what we use, and that's where all of the internships and jobs are posted. Like a lot of local employers, um, even departments on campus that are looking for interns or student employees will post there. So if you haven't already set up your Handshake account, I strongly recommend that you do. You can even create a saved search so that it's constantly sending you new postings as they come up. One thing I mentioned in our previous program, there's the Chancellor's Undergrad Internship Program, which will be recruiting for next academic year, starting in winter of this year. So if you have your Handshake set up, you're already going to be ready for that, right? And their info sessions are going to be in winter. But if you're looking specifically for summer, I will highlight the Institute for Social Transformation. They offer a Transforming Futures scholarship that comes with a stipend as well, a pretty good stipend for a summer internship. And so I would really encourage you to look into that as an excellent option for summer interns.
Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. And it looks like we have a question for Ben and Saskia if you all want to take that one.
Yeah, I think there's a couple related questions about how to get research experience, how to get involved in a lab. And it looks like Julia put in the link to the psych website with research postings. So that's a great way to apply to labs that are looking for people actively. The one thing I'll add though is that 90% of the people who find research placements aren't through those postings. It's from talking to instructors, it's from talking to TAs. So just be curious, ask questions, go to your TA's office hours, go to your faculty members' office hours, get to know them, talk about their research, show an interest, and that's a great way to get involved in research. My lab, we just accept new people just as needed, and and so you never know when they're going to be looking for somebody. So that's a great way to do it, is just to talk to people. Saskia, do you want to add more to that?
Yeah, another great way is to check out the websites, right? The faculty profile page in our website will have a link. Faculty will put the link to their labs under their profile. We're developing a lab guide that we'll share with you all that'll have links to the different descriptions of our labs across the department. And for my lab in particular, I usually, when students connect with me, I share a link to an application that's in my lab website, which is on this slide. And they complete the application. Then I have a conversation with them to talk more about their application, and then we decide if my lab is a good fit for them, for their own educational goals and even graduate school goals, and then if it's a good fit for the projects that we're doing. Similar to Ben, we accept on a rolling basis depending on what projects pop up. I definitely encourage you all to look into the different labs as soon as you can, so you can have a few quarters of research experience. For me, in terms of the other question, which is what we're looking for in undergraduate students, just students that are interested in the research that we're doing in our lab, that are ready to collaborate. A lab is a bit different from a class, right? You have a group of other undergraduates that you work with, a group of graduate students. Depending on the lab structure, we'll meet weekly. In my lab, we meet weekly, but then you have a lot of independent work that you do to complete research tasks. And so you have to be detail oriented and really, but really come with an analytic mindset too. I love having a lab because my undergraduate researchers are always contributing and making my research better. So I really appreciate the engagement that students bring to our labs. So yeah.
Nope, Sammy fell over. Okay, we're just gonna put him over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. So I just dropped in the chat. I know somebody had a question about, I know Carrie mentioned somebody had a question about teaching. which is awesome because one of my majors was education at UCSC. We do have a teaching and credential program, a master's program, and also I know they expressed interest in being a math teacher. We do have a Cal Teach program at UCSC, and that's for people specifically interested in teaching in STEM, so mathematics, science. So I strongly recommend checking that out. So hopefully that's helpful. And Carrie, it looks like there's someone asking about expanding on how the field study placements work.
Right. So I went into a little bit about how the international field study works. The traditional field study program is a bit different. And so if you're thinking about applying to the regular field study program, which is the 2-quarter one that takes place in Santa Cruz, then that one basically, once you are admitted into the program, you get access to a list of all of our community partners that are currently looking for interns. And basically, you determine that my recommendation is you reach out to at least 2 to 3 organizations that you're interested in to express interest, and you go through the interview process with anyone that you're invited to participate in that with. And then you make a selection. So pretty much you're the driver, you're in the driver's seat here. So once you're admitted, you're deciding exactly what that looks like for you, who you want to apply to, what offers you want to accept, all of that. And so I definitely can help advise students on that process. Sometimes students get multiple offers, they don't know how to decide which one. And so that's kind of where I come in. So if you do feel like you have questions along the way, or you want to check in before an interview or anything like that, I'm there to help you with that.
Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. Let's see. Looks like we have a question in the chat. For the CogSci internship / study abroad, are they for a specific interdisciplinary or for all of them? Not sure if I understand that fully. I'm not sure if Carrie.
I'm thinking that they're looking at the different IE tracks and wondering if they're specific to those.
Gotcha.
So again, as I said, so when you do the international program, it's very individualized. So they will meet with you one-on-one via Zoom, our internship company that works with our locations abroad. They will meet with you one-on-one. They go over your resume. They'll check in with you about your goals, your relevant experience, any skills that you have. And then based on that conversation, they will present you with the best option for you. And so, yes, there are a variety of available options. We had students doing kind of research related work. We had students working with like kind of AI or more like software stuff. So we did have a variety of options available for students. So if you are thinking that you are, interested in exploring those things, those options do exist for the international internship.
Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. And I highlighted a question from our Google Form submission that if it's okay with my advising team, I thought I'd pose to you all. I wasn't a psych major at UCSC. I can speak to keeping up with coursework overall, but somebody asked any advice on keeping up with psych coursework. So if any of my colleagues want to throw in their experience as a UCSC psych student and maybe something they did with studying, anything like that, that might be helpful.
I would say most importantly, attend class, pay attention in class, definitely go to discussion sections. And if you have questions, definitely reach out to faculty or the grad student TAs. They're always willing to help you out.
And just second everything Julia just said, I would add that office hours are your best friend, both for your TAs and faculty. I can tell you that in many cases, they're just sitting there waiting for people to come in for any reason, especially the TAs. So take advantage of that time to sit and meet with them, even just to chat and understand what they're there for, is beneficial to you, but also, a great opportunity to get some support on your coursework. Beyond that, I mean, I don't know, study sessions with your peers is a great idea to organize. The library has excellent group study rooms for all of you guys to take advantage of. Uh, Beyond that, I don't really know. I mean, just show up, do the best to do your readings, and best of luck, I guess, beyond that.
I can attest to the office hours thing because I actually had the opportunity to teach a class at UCSC with another student, and I would just sort of sit there and wait for students to show up, and maybe one would trickle in, but usually it was just kind of me staring at a wall. So faculty are there to support you, and it's a great way to network as well. Awesome. Let's see if we've got anything else. So somebody asked, in order to figure out what classes we should take for the other quarters, do we make an appointment with our psych advisors or do a drop-in appointment? Honestly, it could be either. Our peer advising team is our current students who are going to be very well versed in our requirements. But certainly, if you want to set up a signed academic plan, you could always email us as well. And if you want to talk through it in more depth, you could certainly schedule an appointment. Sometimes, because we are such an impacted department, we're able to resolve things before an appointment, but we never want you all to feel like, please don't make an appointment. Sometimes we'll suggest like, oh, you like, maybe you emailed us, like, I would like an academic plan. Can I meet with someone to do that? I may go ahead and make that plan for you and say, would you still like to meet? And that doesn't mean like, please say no. That just means like, hey, like if you don't really need an appointment, we could open this slot for somebody else. But we always want you all to feel like you can make appointments. But we just do have a lot of students. So we just try to be selective and make sure everyone has their chance to meet with us. And I'm just going to reshare really quick. For sake of time, we're going to cut off our Q&A here, but Ben and Saskias, thank you all so much for being here with us. I'm just going to reshare really quick, so bear with me. Right. Perfect. Awesome. So a couple of reminders before we wrap up here. Check your email, check your email, check your email, please check your email. And make sure it's the UCSC email. Something that I always like to emphasize, if you email us from your personal email, like I love bunnies 2014 or something at gmail.com, we'll respond to that and say, please email us with their UCSC email. That's for a number of reasons. One, it's just kind of a professional courtesy, and two, it's a security issue for you as a student. So we can't share anything related to your academic records to your personal email. So always email SciEDB with your UCSC email. Also, it should be a daily practice for you all to be checking your email at this point, because that's how you communicate with professors. That's how, if you have a Canvas course for a class, like you're going to get notifications to your UCSC email, you're going to get tuition updates via email, you're going to get event updates. Literally everything on our campus is going to go to your UCSC email. So make sure you're checking that regularly. We also have psychology newsletters quarterly. That's where we have kind of this huge newsletter with everything we've got going on, events coming up, all that good stuff. Meet with us. There's our lovely pictures again. Reiterating what Rebecca said, you can meet with any of us. But typically, when you email us, if your last name falls in whatever category, that's the person that will respond to it. However, if you like more consistency, you can always say like, hi, Paige, and then I'll answer that one. It doesn't matter what your last name is. If you're following up from an appointment or something like that. Go to office hours, like we said. That's a really useful resource for networking, but also just being successful in your courses overall. Go to class. Sounds self-explanatory, but it's very important. We're on the quarter system. It's only 10 weeks. So taking advantage of all those classes, even if you're tired, if you're sick or there's an emergency, that's another reason, but don't just be like, this is an 8 a.m. I'm not feeling it. That's not a reason not to go to class. And honestly, like if I could go back and do my undergraduate career again, I would, as probably crazy as that sounds, but it flies by. And as transfers, like you have less time here. So I encourage you all to be present in those classes and take advantage of all the knowledge from your professors. And most importantly, well, not most importantly, follow us on social media. We have a Facebook and an Instagram that we've revamped. So we did advertise this session on there, and it's a great way to kind of stay updated with things going on. with enrollment, with permission codes, all that good stuff, especially because we are an impacted department. And then speaking to somebody's question regarding kind of networking with other psych students, we will be having a student experience panel on Wednesday, October 9th from 2 to 3. And this will be in Social Sciences 2, room 121. Again, that infamous building behind John R. Lewis that you're probably like, where the heck is that? You'll figure out where it is eventually. But it is behind 9 and John R. Lewis. And that's going to be a pretty casual, what we're going to have, it's going to be a few of us as well as our peer advising team. And they're going to talk about their student experiences, and then you can network with folks that come. That's going to be proposed psych and cog sci students or declared as well. So that would be a good opportunity to network with those students, but certainly in your classes, you'll meet a lot of people as well, which is nice. So as scary as it is, what I try to do is I would introduce myself to my professor at the end of every first class. Maybe introduce yourself to one person sitting next to you if you want to play it by ear, but sometimes it's nice to kind of have a connection with your instructor on that first day. Just be like, hey, I'm Paige. Excited to be here. I'm looking forward to your class. We'll also be having a faculty advising fair, date to be determined, but it will likely be up by Social Sciences behind 9 and John R. Lewis. And that's a great opportunity. We'll have our faculty members tabling there talking about their research, and you can kind of go around like a little fair and go to each table and talk to them about your research interests and possibly getting involved in their labs. And that wraps it up for our presentation today. Thank you all for joining us. We're really excited for you all, and I know I've connected with some of you via email and it's been great, but I'm hoping to see you all in person so I can put a face to the name. But congratulations again to my fellow banana slugs, and good luck to you all that have class on Thursday. I recommend walking your schedule if you haven't already. If you're like, where the heck is this random room in this lecture hall? If you're living on campus, you can ask your RA. My RA actually walked my schedule with me when I was a frosh, and that was really nice. So if you have no idea where places are, you have some time to kind of wander campus and explore. But congrats again, you all. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you coming up soon.